News at 11.
Welcome to KGW News at 11. We begin with a live look outside our Wells Fargo sky camera. Temperatures are expected to remain dangerously low in Portland, dropping down into the mid to low 20s overnight. Right now, we're seeing temperatures right at freezing. Factor in the wind chill, and it's going to be feeling more like the upper teens in a few spots. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Joe Ranieri. We begin with coverage tonight as freezing temperatures hit our state for the second night in a row. Daisy Caballero is in the Weather Center now, looking at current temperatures and tracking how cold we can expect to get tonight. But first, let's begin with our Bryant Clerkley, who visited a warming shelter earlier this evening. Bryant, Multnomah County had to open up more shelters tonight after they nearly hit capacity last night. How many beds will they have heading into the next couple nights?
Hey, Joe. So Multnomah County will have 430 beds opening throughout tonight. Shelters in Washington and Clackamas County are also open. Crews were setting up all afternoon at Charles Jordan Community Center, which will hold about 150 people. And last night, capacity was at 90% throughout the county. Officials expect that to grow tonight.
It's miserable. I can't stand it. Man, it's painful sometimes.
Jackie James is explaining what it's like to be homeless in the winter. She's been living on the streets of Portland for the last 6 years, and when temperatures plunge, things just get harder. But she says instead of going to one of the warming shelters in Multnomah County, she's going to stick it out.
I usually let that be for like the older population, because I'm younger. So I normally just stay outside. I mean, unless it snows really bad, then I try to get in emergency shelter.
County officials have opened several warming shelters to keep people like Jackie safe. Places like Arbor Lodge, the Salvation Army, the Portland Building, East Portland Community Center, and Charles Jordan Community Center are all acting as warming shelters. Crews were setting up everything people would need to keep warm at the Charles Jordan Community Center in North Portland this afternoon. On Saturday night, the shelters within Multnomah County saw 220 people.
What we tend to see is that the first night, people are just kind of figuring it out, and they just kind of experience that cold weather overnight and then start to realize maybe I need to get inside. This feels unsafe. And then we see an influx of more folks on the second night typically. That's the trend.
That expected influx is why Multnomah County opened 2 more shelters. With temperatures expected to drop into the 20s Sunday night, emergency officials don't want people to take any chances. Free transportation to shelters is also available, and people can call 211 with any questions.
We want people to have a comfortable spot where they can lay down, get some sleep. We also provide food, water, some hygiene items.
In the meantime, Jackie James will try and keep warm. She does not feel comfortable going to a shelter.
I slept outside my tent, but it was gone this morning. So right now I don't have anything. I just try to stay moving, keep my body temperature stable.
And those shelters will close at 8 a.m. on Monday. And if people do need transportation to any of these shelters, they can call 211. Joe?
Thanks, Bryant. And as we switch gears a little bit and talk about just how cold things are going to get, Daisy Caballero is joining me in the studio right now. And Daisy, these are some of the coldest temperatures we've seen basically since that ice storm we saw just days before Christmas last month.
Yeah, Joe, people are going to be definitely feeling the wind chill. Even here locally, if we can take a look right now, let me kind of explain how this all works out. All right, so right now, 32 degrees in the Portland metro area at that freezing mark. Winds have actually calmed down since obviously earlier today. We're right around 11 miles per hour coming out from the east. So again, you guys have probably been hearing us talk about wind chill, and how do we kind of determine how cold it actually is, that wind chill. All right, so this is a map, a graph more actually, that the National Weather Service has actually put together and is posted. Shout out to Chris McGinnis for sharing this and allowing me to kind of steal it to kind of explain with you guys. All right, so looking up here at those temperatures, what were we? Right around 32 degrees. Let's say 30 degrees. Those winds over here, 10 degrees. So that wind chill is right around 21 degrees right now. And I was telling Joe, I was outside during our break and it is definitely chilly. So I can definitely vouch for how chilly those winds are right now. Now looking at our max wind gust for today, Mount Hood Meadows saw 95 mile per hour winds again earlier today, and that kind of translated to negative 36 degrees. Corvallis, not so bad, but they did see 80 mile per hour winds, Skibo 60, and here in the Portland metro area, we capped out right around 39 mile per hour winds. But Joe, we have a lot more to talk about, and I'll explain coming up in my full forecast.
Yeah, Daisy, I remember last winter I was reporting out at government camp because they were seeing temperatures at negative 10. I had really nothing to complain about when it was negative 36 earlier this afternoon. We'll talk to you a little later on the show. Well, we'll continue to bring you the latest weather updates on air and online. Again, if you are looking for a warming shelter, we have a full list of locations up on our website now, kgw.com. You'll find that article on our front page. This winter, we've seen what king tides can do when coupled with a big storm surge. And in Washington, experts with the Department of Ecology are studying sea level rise, and they're learning from these events to help coastal communities cope. Tim Gordon has more.
What a winter with the annual king tides rolling in the highest tides of the season. In one notable instance, happening at a stormy time that added to the surge, bringing seawater flooding and even jellyfish to downtown Olympia. It is these types of events ecology experts say show what to expect in coming years and decades.
So they give us a real glimpse of what sea level rise would look like in the future, because what those are the highest tides of the year, and typically will be associated with coastal flooding.
These four men are involved with learning what to expect in the near and long term and how to adjust to protect Washington's 56 cities and counties that have marine shorelines.
We know that there are about 14,000 structures and homes that are could be at risk of coastal flooding by 2050.
Washington's Department of Ecology has been studying the state's changing coast for many years, how the change is connected to climate change and even tectonic shifts. The state works with local leaders to mitigate the damage now and in the future. Case in point, an $88,000 grant for Pacific County, home to the Long Beach Peninsula, to help come up with a protection plan there.
They're looking at inundation hazards and, do existing shorelines and different assets in their community that they need to protect and how to plan for those while doing their best to engage the community.
These experts say with sea levels expected to rise about a foot in the next 80 years, working with coastal communities is key.
And it's really encouraging and inspiring, I would say, of the communities that are working on this, both from a planning perspective, all the way down to designing on-the-ground projects that address the existing hazards, but with a future-looking lens.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
The effects of the recent string of mass shootings in California is being felt right here in Oregon. Today, members of the Asian Pacific American Network of Oregon held a community vigil in Southeast Portland to honor those who lost their lives in the shootings at Monterey Park and Half Moon Bay. 11 people were killed and 9 more were hurt in the Monterey Park shooting. 4 other people were killed at Half Moon Bay. So far this month, there have been at least 6 mass shootings in California alone.
We value every life. And as a human and as a community member and as a social justice organization, we feel like these acts of violence are senseless and that we're really here to honor those who are most impacted by this violence.
At the vigil, there is opportunity for people to express themselves through artwork. They say after such tragedy, it's important to remind people they aren't alone and that there is community support. It's been 1 year since Vancouver police officer Donald Sahoda was killed by a Clark County Sheriff's deputy. Today, the Vancouver Police Department shared these pictures, writing, "Today marks 1 year since the death of VPD officer Donald Sahoda. May he forever rest in peace." Last January, Deputy Jonathan Feller shot and killed Officer Sahoda. Sahoda was at home fighting with an armed robbery suspect who showed up in his driveway. The suspect was able to manage to get inside Sahoda's house. When Deputy Feller got to the scene, he saw Sahoda running towards the home with a gun. He thought Sahoda was the suspect, and that's when he shot him. Officer Sahoda died at the scene. Earlier this month, we learned Deputy Feller will not be criminally charged.
It hurts me. It really hurts.
That woman's car was stolen from her driveway in southeast Portland this week after she helped homeless people who were living nearby. She later found her car at their camp, but is still waiting for help from police. Blair Best has the story.
Beverly Sapola is new to Portland's Hazelwood neighborhood.
Just moved here from California.
In an effort to be closer to family, she bought a new car and drove to Oregon. After the move, she ended up with a spare mattress, which she offered to people living at a nearby homeless camp.
We were doing courtesy of feeling sorry for the people out there.
She let them into her garage to pick it up.
And I had my keys hanging. I always leave them hanging on the doorknob, the garage.
The next morning,
it's like something's missing.
And your dog knows.
And then, when it first happened, my brother came in the room and he said, "Sis, your car's gone."
Inside was her walker, wheelchair, and portable breathing machine.
It hurts me. It really hurts.
Also hurt, her daughter Elizabeth, who has special needs.
I like going out with my mom and I can't go out anymore.
The stolen car was a black Honda. The last time they saw it was parked outside a homeless camp down the street. It was the same homeless camp that they gave the mattress to.
I called the police and told them that the car's been in the neighborhood. And that's all I told them.
According to Portland police data, since December 2021, more than 11,000 vehicles have been stolen, 603 of them from the neighborhood Sapola now lives in. Portland police have recovered 92% of all the stolen cars.
I feel like they're not doing their job, getting out there and looking for cars.
Police warn people like Sapola not to retrieve their cars from homeless camps for safety reasons and to call them instead. Sapola says she did call them, but Portland police says they don't have that recorded in their system. Sapola and her family are still waiting for help from police and are now relying on neighbors like Bob Hawley for safety.
We all live on the same street and just trying to keep an eye on things. People need to start putting their differences aside and start looking out for one another, start being neighborhoods again.
In southeast Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Now to an emergency declaration from Governor Tina Kotek. She's asking the Oregon legislature to approve money to fight homelessness statewide. The governor is asking for $130 million to provide shelter to at least 1,200 people. Now that money would also help another 9,000 people at risk of becoming homeless. The declaration includes $33 million in rent assistance, almost $24 million to build low barrier shelter beds and hire workers to connect homeless people to shelters and services. The governor's office says this funding package is just the first step in addressing the state's homeless crisis. The city of Portland is launching another 90-day reset plan on the Central East Side. Crews will remove abandoned cars and homeless camps and install better lighting. There will also be more police patrols. The reset is meant to address concerns around safety, cleanliness, and accessibility. Old Town got a similar 90-day reset last year.